In today's video, we are going to be creating an amazing poster design for Nutella. Grab your mouse as we dive in. First and foremost, we are going to create a new document. Choose a solid color. We are going to create another solid color. With this layer selected, Ctrl J to make a copy. Then we are going to position it right here. Set the blend mode to multiply. With the mask selected, we are going to grab the gradient tool. We are going to select this preset. And we are just going to drag this way. With the layer selected, we are going to reduce the opacity. Now we are just going to put this off for now. Create a new layer. Grab a soften brush. Foreground is set to white. Opacity is set to 100. Right click and we are going to increase the brush size. And you click once. Undo that. Ctrl Z to undo. Then you are going to right click and set hardness to 0. Increase the brush size by the right bracket key and click once. So we are going to set blend mode to overlay for this. Create a curves adjustment layer. Now let's grab our assets for this tutorial. So I'm just going to hold down shift and select all these 4 items. Ctrl C to copy. Ctrl V to paste. Ctrl A, and we are going to align that vertically in the middle. Now I'm going to take some time and work on the whole composition, so I'll be speeding this up. With this layer selected, Ctrl J to make a copy. Ctrl T, we are going to transform this and we are just going to be warping it. Convert to smart object, Ctrl T, right click and we are going to warp this. We are going to create a curves adjustment layer and reduce the opacity. With this layer selected, with the mask selected, we are going to grab a soften brush. Reduce the opacity. Foreground is set to black. We right click and we are going to change the roundness. Then we are just going to be making some few clicks down right here to create some light effect just around the base here. With the mask selected, we are going to be creating more light because that's not enough. We are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto this layer. So the effect applies only to the layer with the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. Now we are going to be painting some shadows. We grab a soft tone brush, foreground is set to white. Then we are going to be painting some shadows. Right click and change roundness, and we are going to be painting more shadows. With this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. We grab a soft tone brush, right click and set roundness to normal. And we are going to be painting some shadows. With this layer selected, we are going to create an exposure adjustment layer clipped onto the layer. So basically, we are going to be applying shadows and highlights. I'll be speeding this soon because this is actually very boring to watch, and it's the same process over and over again. With this layer selected, we are going to be creating some contact shadows. So we create a new layer. Grab a soft tone brush, right click and change roundness. Opacity is set to 100. So we are basically going to be creating some contour shadows right under all this. So we create a new layer and we click once. We create a new layer. So I'm just separating all the contour shadows so we can manipulate and transform that anytime. You make the brush bigger by the right bracket key and you reduce the size by the left bracket key. So we are going to reduce the opacity for all. With this layer selected, we are going to bring it back. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. We grab the polygonal lasso tool. And we are just going to create a selection this way. So we are just going to set foreground to white, right click, and we are going to fill it with the foreground color white. Then we hit OK. Ctrl D to deselect. With the mask still selected, we go for filter and we are going to be applying Gaussian blur. So we are going to set the radius to 125 and hit OK. With the layer in place, we are going to reduce the opacity. Select the mask. Grab a soft tone brush, right click and set roundness to normal. Reduce opacity. Foreground is set to black. And we are just going to erase. Create a new layer. Grab a soft tone brush. Opacity is set to 100. Foreground is set to white. Increase the brush size by the right bracket key and we are just going to click once. With the layer selected, we are going to set the blend mode to overlay and reduce the opacity. We are going to create a solid color and we are going to set the blend mode to overlay. With the mask selected, Ctrl I to invert. We are going to reduce the opacity. Grab a soft tone brush. Reduce the opacity. Foreground is set to white. And we are just going to be painting some light around here. Set foreground to black and we are going to erase. with this layer selected, we are going to select the max, and we are going to be creating more light effect because that's not enough. Roundness is set to 12. Foreground is set to black, and we are just going to erase to create the light effect. Now I'm just going to put this particles layer into the whole composition, try to match the color and paint some of the particles. So we are just going to merge all layers by pressing Ctrl Alt Shift E. Then we are going to apply camera raw. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Till next time, stay creative.